morning, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Dark Tides Whispered Heart, the final episode. This is the we're at World's End. We're here. We did it. Before we go around and say hello to all of our players, please check out the following links, including, as I desperately try and find where I've put my Twitch chat. There we go. Good morning, Sphinx. Check out our social links, Discord, Twitter, and YouTube. Discord, come and be a part of the family. Twitter, send me a DM and I'll get you in one of our games. Next season, we will have 5 viewer games, 4 of which are D&D 5e, so get on the list now. I've already filled 1 page of my diary with names, so we're going strong. I've still got plenty of room for more players, though. And YouTube, you can catch up over on YouTube and catch all the other episodes there. Check out as well our sponsors. Check out the Deck of Many. The Deck of Many, who make these wonderful moving cards. I just cut the deck and drew the skull card again. I keep doing it. This is the animated deck of the Deck of Many animated things. They also make animated spell reference cards from cantrip through to level 9, and the Humblewood campaign, which will be one of our viewer games next season. So if you want to get in on some of that Humblewood goodness, send me a DM. Also check out Mayhem Press. Mayhem Press, who made the Dark Matter system for 5e, now available in hardback. I believe the book's somewhere near Alice. I'm
really sorry. I think Hildy's set up.
If you like space and you like D&D, that book is for you. It's got everything you need to build a space character. Races, classes, backgrounds, equipment, including blasters and laser swords, ships, ship combat, an expanded spell list. Hold ship. What more do I need to say? Go and check it out. With my discount code, you can get 15% off. And most certainly not least, there is only like not even 16. There's like 10 hours left, I think, on the Hero. Less than that on the Hero Forge Kickstarter. So if you want to go and get yourself a painted mini that looks not even painted, that's a lie. A colored mini, yes, but not painted. A colored mini that looks a lot like this little thing, then head over there. I think the lowest price to get early access to the color creation tool and 1 mini is $40. And if we hit $3 million, we can create light effects. And all I'm saying is that means, what should I call them? Light swords or laser sabers. We're dancing around some kind of copyright there, I'm sure. We can make them with light effects, okay? So go and check it out. I haven't checked out where the Kickstarter is yet this morning. So I'm excited to go and see what number we're up to. Go and support it! Retweet the tweet. Let everyone know you're here for the finale. Alice, good morning.
Good morning. Hi, I'm Alice. I'm White Rabbit Pick on Twitter. That is where you can find me. I am your DM today, and I am also a as you can see, DM and player on this channel. I will be running one of the viewer games next season. I'm coming back after a break since season 1. And I will also be doing some DMing on some other channels next season as well. I have a Patreon. There's a lot of photography stuff going up on there in the next few weeks, which I'm very excited about. Otherwise, let's head round and say hello to everyone. And oh, that confused me. I think Lamorna and Shepard are in the wrong place, but we're going to say hello to Rachel first.
It's like I'm playing Shep today.
Yeah.
Hi, I am Rachel. I am just buzzing with excitement for today's game. It's going to be dramatic, it's going to be epic, it's going to be powerful on many levels, I think. And I'm just so excited to see the climax of Alice's incredible storytelling. It's always a treat to be DM'd by you, GM'd, whatever we're playing. But yes, I'm Rachel. You can find me on pretty much all the social medias, Instagram, Twitch, Talonir, Twitter. I skipped the gun, jumped the gun. With the tag Talonir, I do a lot of tabletop RPG illustration. I'm about to open commissions probably early next week, so that's going to be very exciting. And also, I have started jumping into the world of Armorcraft, which is very, very fun. So if you like seeing costume, LARP pictures, all that crazy world, check it out. And thank you so much.
And who are you playing?
I will be playing Lamorna, not Shepard. I think.
Yes, that's the twist all along.
And I've managed
I was going to say plot twist. We've
Yeah.
actually been each other the whole time.
I mean, I've done it before, so.
And I've managed to so far go this entire game without revealing my secret identity, somewhat like Batman. So we'll see if that keeps up.
Wonderful, thank you. Then we're gonna hop down and say hi to Matt. Oh, hi.
Hello. I couldn't quite click the unmute button there. What happened? Hi, everybody. My name's Matt. I am a filmmaker, storyteller, artist. I stream over at Ascension Stories. We play Dungeons and Dragons once a week, me and my buds. And then the rest of the time, I edit videos and movies, and we play video games, but that's less of a focus, more of a hangout kind of a thing. I also have a Patreon, so if you guys, if anybody is looking to learn, kind of learn, but also kind of see some of the behind the scenes of like build your narrative, like visual storytelling, that's kind of a focus of mine over on Patreon. And so yeah, but other than that, I make videos and movies. And today on the show, I'm playing Wyatt, the American cowboy. Somehow they ended up over here, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we jump the gun, as Rachel did.
It always jumps the gun.
To shoot first and then open your eyes second. Is what he always says. Yeah. But yeah, that's me.
Wonderful, thank you. Then we're gonna hop over and say hi to Jen. Oh, hi.
Hello. I'm so excited for today. I'm really hoping that we get some of these people off the island, if not all of them. That would be nice. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Quixote Jen. And I love to go over there and talk about home brewing and DMing, good stuff like that. And I stream a lot on Featherfall TT on Twitch, and I'm in a cool game called The Gods We Know with like, I'm so touched by like the quality and richness of the role playing that I'm experiencing in that game. So I'm super excited for that. So I'm sad that this is coming to an end, and I'm diving into my other stuff, but I'm excited to see what happens here.
Awesome, thank you. And last but certainly not least, Scrap.
Hi. Yeah, I'll have a brief Brady. I'm playing Douglas Lackland today, and we're on a ship. It's all getting very weird. Been a handprint. This my own handprint that I see before, and it's strange. We didn't set that up either. It took me completely by surprise. I'm not very. I am happy about it, but in the way that I'm kind of salty too. Douglas Lackland though. He's the ship's chef cook. Hangs out in the galley, and doesn't have much more truck of all of this spookiness.
Awesome. Thank you. And we'll start over by the chariot. And the chariot with Wyatt and Shepherd on. Wyatt has this cannon sort of still smoking as it goes. And you look at the tree line, and all of these things seem to have dispersed. There's a moment where you look across this island from where you came, and it has almost a welcoming sense to it, like you can feel it wanting you to come back, but you're very aware of that feeling. It's almost as soon as you head towards the water and you're on board, you feel it trying to draw you back. And the sun itself feels much warmer. You've just watched Lamorna and Douglas swim out to the other ship. You can see them moving about on board, but because they're so far away, you can't really see what it is they're doing, but you are aware that they've managed to get on board. And you can see Elizabeth has stood looking out, doing as she was told. James waits on the deck. And Shepherd and Wyatt, what are you doing as you you just watched your friends board almost the exact same ship that you're on.
Is there? I know that Wyatt was going to get the captain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm watching to see if anything else comes out of the woods, or if we like Crow transformed all of the scary things.
Oh yeah, we blowed them up.
Yeah. Well, I'm checking to see if anything else comes at us.
Okay,
yeah.
could you roll a beyond for me, please?
Yes. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. I can, as soon as I can get into roll 20. My apologies.
That's
Oh my
amazing.
goodness.
I knew I was forgetting something.
My goodness. I need to do that too.
I know, I've just looked down, I'm like, there's 2 people missing. It's not
I'm
just
so
Shepard.
sorry.
No, it's not. You're fine.
It's gonna take me a second.
Wait, am I on the ship still?
I thought you
Or
were
back-
going to
am I
get the
back on the
captain.
ship? I'm still getting the captain on the shore.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you're
Yeah.
on the shoreline.
Oh my god. I forgot who I am.
Yep. Roll 20 forgot me as well.
Roll 20, no.
One of those things where
After all
like
these times
you,
together.
you,
I know, right?
you rely so heavily on your browser to remember your username and password on certain things.
Such a you don't
Oh
forget
my god,
it.
I just went and
As soon
had
as
a...
it forgets, I'm like, well, I can never have that account again.
Yep, looks like I'm creating a new account.
That's gone.
I just...
Well, it's not letting me on, so I could just
I can
roll
roll
2d6. Yeah,
I can
okay.
roll
I have
for
a
you,
plus
as
2 on Beyond, and I'm still gonna try to figure it out. I'm sorry.
No, you're good, you're good. Alright, let's roll. I rolled you a crit success, so you're good.
Oh, see, that, you could just keep rolling for me. That would be totally fine.
And you sort of look over towards the tree line, and for a moment you're distracted as you can hear barking as Luke is climbing up on deck and getting on himself. This dog very excitedly circling your legs, sort of in a mad dash, heading over to James, barking at James, and Luke sort of stretches. You see him heave his heavy form up, and he comes to join you, and looks at the tree line, almost silently. And the only thing you do see is a huge dog passing between the tree lines. It doesn't seem to be coming down onto the beach. In fact, it doesn't look... You see a moment where it's like it takes a step almost into like the sunlight onto that sand dune, and it pulls back. And it doesn't seem to be looking at Wyatt. It doesn't seem to be looking at anyone in particular. It's almost like it's looking for something. Its nose to the air sniffing.
Do I see its eyes?
Probably not from this distance.
Okay.
It's more
Good.
you can see the huge hulking shape, and it's moving.
And it's nowhere near where Wyatt is going for the captain.
No, it's nowhere near Wyatt at all. It's in fact,
Okay.
it doesn't seem to be bothered. It looks like it's past Wyatt, like it's had to walk past
Mm-hmm.
the tree line where Wyatt is, and it's completely ignored him.
Okay. Luke, keep an eye on that.
And he looks over and he just nods. You know, I don't like that thing.
Yeah, no, I don't like it either. I'm glad it's nowhere near Wyatt. I don't know what to do about it, though. At least it's not looking at us. Any idea what it might be looking for?
And he sort of cranes his neck and looks over. I mean, I can't be sure, but it's gonna be looking for someone. And it doesn't seem interested in Wyatt or the captain. But it's
Well-
pacing.
Hopefully that someone is out on the water at this point and can't get to us.
I mean, let's hope.
And the little dog is barking in the direction of the big dog.
No, the little dog is just happily sort of running
Okay.
around the deck. The little dog doesn't seem to give it a
All right, I'm gonna just check and make sure, like the other ship that Douglas and Lamorna were heading toward, whether that is in the line of sight of the dog at all, whether it might be sniffing in that direction.
It does, again, it's not looking in that direction at all.
Okay.
It seems to be pacing like it's looking for something and can't quite find it, but it is sticking to the general area you are in. It's not
Okay.
looking towards you,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't seem to be continuing its route around the island or anything like that.
And Wyatt's path back to the ship, will that bring him closer?
He won't have to cross the dog's path
Okay.
to get back.
Okay.
And Luke looks to you. He's like, I'm going to go and get everything ready so we can leave as soon as possible.
Yeah. The moment everyone's back on this deck, I want us gone.
Me too. And he sort of shrugs on like his huge coat that he's managed to get back and starts to, you can see him going to start tying all the ropes, getting everything ready. And Wyatt, you're walking towards the captain. And he stands there with his back to you.
Mhm.
And as you walk through the sand, all around you is littered with these fallen crows. And
Can I walk in slow motion?
you can walk in as much slow motion as you want.
Yeah.
You walk in slow motion through these crows. Even a few more as you walk are dropping out of the sky. But the captain doesn't move back to you. In fact, he stands like a statue.
All right. Then I'll keep approaching. And is there anything about his posture that suggests that it is not the captain?
I would say, actually, if anything, it's the posture that convinces you it is the captain. He stands very,
okay.
very tall, almost very proudly. In fact, he looks more of the captain now than he did on the day everything changed. He's standing very upright, very proudly, how you used to always see him on the first day of the launch of the ship.
Yeah. Okay.
And you're looking at this embroidered long coat, the one that you saw the washerwoman sort of throwing against the rock, bathing in that water. There is no blood there at all. It looks brand new. Same as his trousers and his boots look fairly shiny, and they sort of drop just over his hands as he stands facing away from you.
I almost said gently but firmly, and that doesn't make a lot of sense. But I think you get what I'm saying. Put a hand on his shoulder.
Okay. You put a hand on his shoulder, and he doesn't move. And you sort of, as you put a hand on his shoulder, you look over onto his other, and you can see a wet handprint on the other shoulder. But there's a stiffness to him. In fact, it feels wrong. You don't feel like when you grab someone's shoulder, you can feel the material, but he feels solid. Like it's not like you're holding on to someone's actual arm or shoulder.
Then kind of just like almost using him almost to steady myself, I'm going to just like leave my hand there, but circle around him.
You
inquisitively looking at his face.
You sort of walk round to the front of him, and you're looking at a wooden carving, as if it was on the front of a ship. And it's very detailed. you can see almost the face of a man you knew, a very proud face. There's a slight smile, like a quirk, to the corner of his mouth. The eyes have been painted. And you can see that it's almost like the clothes have been put on like a dummy. This wooden carved statue, almost as if it was like a tribute to someone.
Mm.
And he stands solidly, and you realize the rigidness was the wood.
Right.
And it's only the layers that gave him some form of substance.
Like the scene from I Am Legend where Will Smith found his buddy Frank.
I don't know, because I turned off when they killed the dog. So, anyway.
I think this was before then.
Oh, I don't remember.
All right, the mannequin, Frank, was standing out in the middle.
Frank! Yes, no, I do know Frank.
It was dressed and standing out in the middle of the street. You weren't supposed to be there. I'm going to take my hand away. No! Frank!
Frank, damn it!
Because I hadn't seen this before, right? I hadn't had any kind of inclination to think that.
You watched him walk.
Right.
You watched him walk.
I'm immediately looking around for somebody that's pulling a fast one on me. Just almost like in a panic. I'm just looking all around me for anybody that might have put this here and swapped them out.
You look around, and there's a sense of almost loneliness here, as in there's nothing here. You really feel an emptiness, as in there's this inclination that there is no other life here. You can see a figure stood in the sand dunes, but again it stands as rigidly as the captain.
A figure stands in the sand that... Wait, are you describing the wooden figure?
There's another one.
There's another one.
Someone stands just as rigidly, and you do recognize the clothing of the doctor on this thing, and again stood rigidly, almost like a representation of the individual held in time.
Right. Okay. I take this as a bad omen. Mom, on the right track there, Alice.
I mean, I wouldn't blame you.
Yeah, sure.
You do get a sense of like this is it's not a bad thing in the fact that you feel like this could happen to you. You feel like something has passed, and this is what remains.
Right. Okay. Is there a on the captain? Is there a stone or anything, like a memento?
You can
Like
see
not his clothing, but like a hagstone or something like that.
There isn't a hagstone, but you can see tied round his wrist, almost woven into it. It's like a leather band mixed with what looks like a piece of material that's been torn, and it's almost a very floral material, more likely to have belonged to a woman than himself.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then I'm just going to leave that there on him, and then I'm going to run away bravely.
And there's this moment where you leave and you run, and you can head straight back to the ship, and Shepard, you can see Wyatt comes running. And again, there's this, you see these two solid figures. You can't really tell from them. You think it looks like the captain that has stood there. But Wyatt, when you leave them and you run, you feel almost like they remind you of the head of Minerva that you saw. To be almost on the front of a ship rather than anything else. And you can run and get on board, clamber up. It's easy for you to climb up. Everything is ready. It's in the shallows. You sort of splash through this water.
Well, and I know I don't really need to, but I was leaning over the side of the ship ready to like give him an arm and pull him up as fast as I possibly could. So I'm pulling you onto the ship whether you need me to or not. What happened? Why did you leave him? What made you run away?
That ain't him. Some kind of wooden statue.
Wooden
Him and the
statue?
doc. Mm-hmm.
But it was walking.
Not anymore.
Are you feeling okay?
Alice, do I feel okay? Do I feel
You
like
feel,
wood?
you feel fine. Like you feel very much yourself. If anything, it's more. You might feel a sense of loss for crew, but you don't. You yourself feel fine.
Right.
All right, no wooden toes or fingertips or
Right.
any.
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think it was contagious.
Okay, good. Look over there, and I point out the giant dog.
And why you can see it pacing.
All right. So when he points, I almost want to draw my gun, but I stay my hand, and I'll look first this time. And what's the dog doing?
It's literally just pacing. Its nose is to the air, this huge muzzle you can see lifted as it sniffs. But it doesn't seem to be necessarily leaving the area, but it doesn't seem to be approaching either. Like, again, it's not leaving the tree line.
All right. Well, that's probably a potential bit of concern that we should have there.
Maybe we should go further out to sea, get a little closer to where the ship is. There's no reason to stay close to shore at this point.
I agree with you. Can you manage that?
I sure can.
Yeah.
And
Go
on.
Yeah. So when he goes off to do that, I'm going to load up the cannon again.
Yeah. You can spend that time loading the cannon. Shepard, Luke gives you a nod and starts to weigh the anchor. Starts to crank it back, and you can hear that those chains starting to move. James getting ready. He's sort of gone to stand by Elizabeth. You can see them just talking to each other. And the ship, you feel it almost just shift in that sand as it lurches forward for a moment and then starts to move through the shallows past the sandbanks. And as you head out, you're looking forward, you're looking towards the ship so that you can keep yourself in the right direction. Mm-hmm. And I will say, because you're probably on the other side of the ship to Wyatt, because Wyatt is loading the cannon. You're coming up to the sandbanks, past those rocks that Lamorna have pointed out. And you hear voices somewhere below on the sandbanks. You hear a splash of water, and it's not like laughing, but it's fairly joyous. And you can hear a man's voice just say, "The sun feels so much better like this, don't you think?"
Can I see anything?
You can run over to the edge if you want. You can go and look down.
Yeah.
And there are two men in the shallows. They seem to be almost swimming, sort of like they're not really, it's not deep enough for them to swim, but they're almost like messing about in the water. One of them you can see is sort of perched up on one of the rocks, which is very hot from the sun. And you can see a smile on their faces. They're chatting, they're laughing. You see very, very almost golden blonde hair and very bright blue eyes. And
For
they
all-
don't
for
seem
both
to
of them?
notice for both of them.
Okay.
If anything, you would say they're brothers, but their face is a very, very different. One of them is a lot sterner jaw. One of them is quite soft, but they are so pale, almost like reflecting the sun, kind of pale. And they're smiling, they're laughing, they're splashing, they're relaxing almost in this water. And they don't seem to have noticed you. They seem too distracted. But you can look over and see them. You're not like right next to them, but you're passing the rocks in the deeper part of the water.
So before I try to draw attention to us, is there any myth or legend about super pale, blonde, blue-eyed people who are dangerous in the ocean that I might know of?
No,
Yeah.
you probably wouldn't have known.
Then I'm gonna lean over as close as I can to them, and I cannot believe I've not gotten a chance to say this whole time, so I'm gonna say it now. Ahoy!
Ahoy,
Than once.
mateys! As you do that, you see them both go rigid and stop, and they quickly look towards you, and the look you see more than anything is embarrassment. They look quite shy, they look quite sheepish, and you see them both sort of walk behind the rocks. You can still see them. They're almost like hiding and protecting themselves from you, and you can see them pull these thing. You're not too sure what it is, like these heavy grey things off the top of the rocks and pull it towards them.
We mean you no harm. I just wanted to warn you of danger. This place is not safe.
And one of them looks up and is like, "Are you stranded?"
Hopefully not for long. We're heading out. You?
No, we're good.
I look around to see if I see a ship of any kind. Rowboat,
There are no ships.
paddleboard.
There's
No.
nothing at all around here.
Do you live on this island?
No, not really.
Look around in the ocean.
Who are you?
My name's Shepherd. This is the chariot. We're on our island. If you need somewhere to go, if you're stranded on these rocks.
Oh, no, we're fine. Are you trying to leave?
Yes. Yes, definitely trying to leave as quickly as we can.
You see them look to each other, and they seem to like have a not conversation, but they, move. And one of them, the much larger one, which is very, very broad, sort of in the shoulders, and you can see just how, like, they look like they would be strong swimmers. And he sort of starts wading towards the ship, and he's just, "Is your whole crew with you?"
As many as we could. There are a few that are elsewhere, but are going to be with us soon. Why?
Well, if you're going to try leave, you need to all be together.
Why?
Well, you only get one chance.
Okay. I have no idea how you know any of this, but at what point do we cross a line and the others can't come with us?
Well, and he sort of looks and then looks out, and he's like, "Is that your ship?"
Yes, that is also the chariot.
And he
Somehow.
looks back and he's like, "I told you it was the same." Like, they seem to be having a little bit of debate between each other. It's like, well, I mean, we saw two people swim over there. And we wondered, well, you should probably all be together. She'll probably arrive any minute now.
who will arrive any minute now.
The lady.
Which lady?
What do you mean, what lady?
What lady? That's what I mean. There's a lady?
The one who gives you the chance.
What's her name?
I don't know. We just know her as the lady. We're quite happy where we are.
Does she come to us?
She'll be with them soon. They're out far enough. They go past the main boundary.
And only one ship? Or can we leave with 2 ships if we leave at the same time?
Can you look? You said they're the same ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. One of them will disappear. If you're heading into a different timeline, the other one's gonna go.
All right. Thank you. Is there anything we can do in return for your help?
And he sort of wades forward again. But, no, I don't think so. And he looks still a bit sheepish. Could you maybe say, you haven't seen us? Or something like that? That would be kind of good.
I have no one to say it to. I'll say nothing. You look like a strong swimmer.
And again, like, you could see him go quite red. Yeah, no, I guess you could say that. Why would you say that?
I have very little to offer you in return, but would you be able to swim out to that ship and warn them and bring them back?
Oh, you think they're on the wrong ship?
We all have to be together. You think we need to go there?
Yeah, no, I think because, and he sort of, you should probably look the other side. And Wyatt, as you're loading the cannon.
Yeah. So I would, like, in the middle of this conversation, just yell, "Cannon's ready!"
Yeah, you're gonna cannons ready from the other side, and you're getting it ready so that it can be fired again fairly quickly.
Yeah.
You look over the edge as you're pushing it forward so that it will be easy access from the ship. And you look down into these clear waters, and you see the head of Minerva. You see bits of the ship you're technically on, beneath you, wrecked on rocks.
Like we hit rocks?
But it's like it's a third ship, if anything. The debris is sort of just wedged down below. Some of it is buried in the sand. If anything, from you looking at it, you'd say that it had been like that for a while.
I'm just going to stand there dumbfounded for a minute and ponder about the possibilities of firing myself out of this cannon into oblivion. Shep, how many ships do you see out there?
Do I see more than one?
You just see the one that you saw Douglas and Lamorna get on.
I see one, and we need to get it to come back to us.
Well, I found another one.
And where?
Over there. Over there.
I look over there.
Pointing down.
Yeah.
Do I see?
Yeah, you can see it below you, and that one of those men sort of comes swimming around the other side, and he sort of moves through the water with such ease. He's like, "See? That's it was Shepherd, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is also us?
That's when you tried to leave the first time."
Oh no. Okay.
Hold up. Hang on. Where'd you come from?
And this man looks up and he's like, "I'm from the rocks the other side."
They're here to help. They're here to help, and they don't want to get off the island, and they seem to know something about how we get out. And if that other ship crosses a line, we will never leave.
Well, what's he
If it
doing in
leaves
the
without
water?
us.
And he's sort of like not treading water, but you can see sunk to his shoulders, and he's just looking up at you.
Swimming. He's swimming. He's swimming.
All right.
How we
Well,
we
how
need
do
to
how
get
do we
them
how we going to get out there?
I think we need to signal to them some kind of SOS so that they'll try to head back to us.
And this little hand comes out the water. She's like, actually, you tried to do that last time, so I suggest you actually head to them. I can
going to try to do
guide you
both.
through the rocks, but
Yes, please.
What does he mean we did that last time? I ain't never been here before.
I think we have. There's at least 2 of us, and I point to the chariot on the horizon. So why not 3?
Hey! I'll shout down at it.
and he looks
Yeah.
up, like, yes.
The other me. You saying I was here before?
Yes, sir.
What happened to the other me?
You're the one who can't swim, right?
That would be him.
Yeah, you don't want to know.
Luke, full speed to the other chariot.
And Luke is just like fight and starts taking your orders, and James seems to be distracting Elizabeth so she doesn't look over the edge more than anything. And this man again swims through the water very, very easily. It's like, I can guide you through the rocks, but I can't help you after that. I'm sorry I didn't before.
Well, thank you this time.
This way, and you can see him sort of wave to his friend, who does sort of wave back and stays by the rocks. However, this swimmer tucks something underneath his arm and starts to head. You see him dive underneath the water, but the water is so clear that it's so easy to follow him, and it's easy to see. And Shepard, are you steering?
Yeah.
Okay, could you roll me a balance or brains, please, as you do
that
this?
Would definitely be balance and not brains.
If you need me, I'm going to be standing here next to the mast. Just kind of making sure that everything's okay with it.
You watch that mast.
Away from the
Actually,
edge.
are there any flags of distress that we have any way of sort of signaling friggin' stop to another boat?
I would say you would have material. I wouldn't say you have a flag per se, because you were stranded, but the other ship also doesn't seem to be moving.
Okay. All right. So just doing my best to follow our swimming companion.
Yeah, you see him sort of bob in and out of the water, and he sort of swims alongside and guides you through. And you can see him say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare your friend.
The one up here that can't swim?
And he nods in the water.
It's all right. Sometimes fear is healthy.
I ain't scared.
He's not scared.
Apologies. And you can see him dive back under the water again, and he stays under for a long time before coming back up. And he keeps going. He's like, look, I'm gonna just... When you get onto that other ship, you'll probably meet her, but she can offer you a second chance, but you're gonna need to give her something. Each of you.
What do we give her? What does she want?
I mean, I've never done it, so I don't really know how it fully works, but it's normally something precious to you. It pays your way.
Does she like harps?
I mean, we're not that close as he sort of like keeps going through the water. And he's got like this quite like a cheeky grin on his face as he's going, and you can see him wrinkle his nose as you say it. He's like, and you suddenly realize again how deep it's getting. You feel the ship really take hold. And you can see lots of fish moving beneath, and he moves almost as smoothly as them. And he sort of then rests on his back as he drifts through this water. I don't know. Just something.
Okay. Thank you. Any other information you can give us?
Like what?
What does she look like? Where does she show up? Does she speak English?
She'll speak the language you speak. And you'll know when you see her. She is the lady.
The lady.
Does she have varying degrees of accents?
If I'm honest, I don't know.
Well, I suppose we'll be finding that out then.
I've only seen her twice.
All right.
I may have spoken to her before, but she's never spoken back to me.
It means you
Right.
weren't ready.
I believe it. Thank you again.
It's fine, you should be clear from here on. I'll keep close, but... And he sort of like raises a hand out of the water.
Yeah. I wave my hand back.
What's the dog doing?
Oh, dog is losing it, like just running around. Like he's on a boat. So he's just sort of running around and barking and...
Oh wait, no, not my dog. Big dog.
Oh, the big dog. The big
That
dog
would be funny
did
if
not
he was doing the
leave.
same thing though.
Yeah, just... Big
Big
dog
dog
has
wants a
not left
treat.
the island. Big dog has not left the island.
Okay.
I'm just going to do everything I can to get us there as quick as possible.
Okay.
And actually, Wyatt, can you ready everyone to board the other ship when we get close?
What did you mean board?
We're leaving the ship and we're getting on that one.
How are we going to do that?
Ask Luke.
Luke, how are we going to do that?
He's sort of like, I don't know. Have you got a spare plank? As he starts sort of walking around and just digging through stuff to look.
So we're going to walk the plank to the other
Onto
ship.
another boat though.
Yeah, it's a little different than the normal walking the plank.
And he
Over the
gives you
water.
like a massive slap on the back and holds onto you. He's like, "It's all right. If you fall in, I'll catch you.
He will. He'll catch you.
I always catch people. Never miss. I'm a good swimmer too."
You'll be fine, Wyatt. We won't let you. We won't let you fall.
Luke, I've seen you try to catch things. You couldn't catch the arse end of a joke.
But you're not a joke, are you? Or are you?
Debatable. We could tie you to one of us.
You don't need no tying to anyone. You're just gonna have more problems like that. It's all right. If anything, I'll throw you.
There's a solution.
Don't toss me.
And he looks at you. He's like, "You'll be fine." And he gives you another slap on the back, and then he starts to drag you. He's like, "Come help me find a plank."
I'm kind of panicking. Looking. No. You find the plank. That's a good idea.
Wyatt, none of us
Yeah.
will be fine unless you find a plank. Go look for a plank.
No. Luke's got the plank. I believe in him 100%. I'm gonna see if I can find some rope.
All right. Get James and Elizabeth on it too.
Also, get some whiskey in you.
I'm gonna be looking for some rope, and I'm gonna tie me a lasso.
You can absolutely do that. On the other ship, however, Lamorna, you've come back up on deck and you're looking towards Douglas, who is currently stood by the captain. And Douglas, you sort of pause for a moment as the captain feels very strange beneath your hand.
Yeah.
And Lamorna, you're looking at this wooden carving, almost solid, eyes wide open, holding onto the... Oh my god, I've forgotten the word. I'm just going to say the
Helm?
wheel. Helm, there we go,
Hey,
my
there we
god.
go.
Onto the helm. And the doctor stood very rigidly beside him.
So wait, everyone who was moving around, active and very lifelike, is now...
Yeah. Solid. Wooden. However, you can still hear James for a moment running around. You can't see him. You didn't see him in the first place.
No.
But there's a...
Is it safe to say that since we've been on this boat, we have seen no sign of anyone that is confirmed alive? Like, so Luke, James, us group of 4. Alright. Lamorna's cogs are turning. She's gonna stride over to Douglas, like, Douglas, we gotta get off this boat. I don't want to get turned into a ship carving.
Lamorna, it was me. Look, I just put a soggy handprint on the captain's shoulder. I saw it before we went on that island. It was me.
Alright, but think about it this way. If it wasn't you, it would have been me. It would have been one of us. I think this was always going to happen.
Aye, but that means it was us. That means...
Yeah, that's great. That happened. That we have no time to dwell on that or blame ourselves or each other. It happened. Let's make sure everything else that happens is better.
Could you both roll a beyond for me, please?
Aww.
I can try. I'm actually not that awful at beyond.
It's kind of like the Cthulhu thing. It's like, do I want to be good at beyond or do I not?
I actually rolled well for once.
Hey.
Just as good.
You both stand for a moment. You're almost facing each other with this statue of the captain beside you, this carving, and you're talking to each other when you hear almost like a song on the breeze. And there's this strange sort of, not whispering, you're not too sure, but there's a sensation of calm. And stood where at the very front of the ship by the bow is a woman with her back to you, and she's dressed in white robes, has very deep dark hair, and both her hair and clothes seem to float in the air and drift, almost as if she was underwater. But she stands there, and you can see wet footprints that seem to lead up to her, but they don't seem to come from anywhere.
Lamorna instantly jumps, teeth bared, and is just like ready to fight or flight at this point, I think.
About Douglas.
I just kind of look on. I left my weapons back over there, so it'd be easier to swim. So, get the chops up, I guess. More reacting to Lamorna than the thing we're seeing, though, honestly.
And there's a moment where you both stand there, poised and ready, and you see her turn her head, and you see a very sort of pale pinkish skin, red lips, and very bright sort of greeny blue eyes that seem to move and shift color as she stands there, and she smiles. There is no need to fight. I'm not here for conflict.
Well, that's a relief.
And as she turns where she is at the bow and looks at you fully, you sort of squint for a moment and you recognize the face of Minerva at the helm as she looks at you.
Just dumbfounded for a bit.
She holds her hands up and she I am unarmed, and I assure you I have no skills in, as she clenches her fists a little bit and then drops them.
Are you why we're here?
More importantly, will you help us get out?
The sea is why you're here. I can give you a second chance.
Did we do something wrong? Have we slighted the sea in some way? I just don't understand why us? Why here? I don't know why
Captain.
I'm here.
Oh no, it was the captain. He brought us here, right?
And she holds her hands out to both of you as you stand up on the higher level, almost like beckoning you to come closer. And do you approach?
Aye, I always used to stand next to the figurehead of Minerva anyway, because I used to joke that it calmed my nerves, huh? And I feel very, very justified in that joke now, by the way. So I'll be approaching as soon as she gestures.
I will approach, but ready just to kind of bolt backwards at the slightest stimuli.
She takes your hand, Douglas, in one of hers, and it feels soft, as if it had not done a day's work. Like, and it's like it's very, very soft. And she holds your hand very gently. You did nothing wrong. You were unfairly thrown into a storm and someone else's actions. And she looks to both of you. And she looks to you, Douglas. I cannot save you as it was, but I can put you back into that moment. And a moment that you have already lived through and you can learn.
Aye. May we ask a question, milady?
And she just closes her eyes and nods.
I'm not sure if I'm asking a question exactly or wisdom on the choice of actions to take. Say we get back on that ship and the captain's being all weird and staring towards the... I mean, we're all taught about the dangers of the sea. You don't go sailing towards sirens. You just didn't do it, you know? So if we were to, like, I don't know, lamp him, would that turn out well for us? I mean, it might look a bit like mutiny.
She sort of, her gaze softens as she moves her head towards you. You see that hair sort of out as if it's floating in the water. Look towards you. There will be no captain. He did not accept a second chance.
Oh, that's a relief then. That's a relief, isn't it, Lamorna? Isn't that a relief?
Lamora is just frowning. When you say we did nothing wrong, then why has this island been constantly, relentlessly trying to make us remember old pain, trying to make us repent for things we've done? I rejected that offer.
She looks at you and blinks a few times. We don't always understand why the island does what it does. There's no real reason for it. It's the same way we don't understand why the ocean takes some people and doesn't others. You're a child of the ocean as it is. You know that.
Dramatic turn and stare.
You know, like Shepherd is. Born at sea and all that.
Shepherd's a fish too.
Plot twist.
I don't understand why if this island, it makes people see certain things. I mean, a lot of what I've seen makes no sense to me. I don't feel it even applies to me. And then
That is because you are living in one timeline. In one instance. I cannot explain it to you. It's not something I know. I am merely the voice, not it. Your friends are coming.
are they safe if they come to this ship, or?
And she nods slowly.
And everyone around us who's been, well, turned to wood, did they all reject the second chance?
Some did not even make it to the island.
She is a cruel mistress.
She takes what she has to.
Aye.
Will we remember all of this if we succeed in leaving?
Maybe. Maybe not. It's wonderful what our minds choose to remember and what they don't. There's reasons some things that you see on the island you may not recognize, that they are attracted to you.
And the dog, what is the dog's purpose on the island? If not to, I don't know.
It does not kill, if that is what you are wondering. It takes what is already past.
So those who are doomed not to leave the island, who will not survive?
Sometimes. It's not a straight line. Sometimes there are second chances. It's almost as if it weighs you and it measures you. Some have second chances, some do not.
And this measurement has nothing to do with sin, as we thought. Perceived sin.
And she smiles.
We're talking about sinning around Minerva, Lamona. Come on now. We wouldn't
she
be
sort of
sinning away.
She's not Christian.
I don't know, do I?
She smiles. You know, every time someone comes to this island, it goes back to sin.
That's just what everyone keeps talking about. It's all these people ever talk about when it comes to morality. Sin this, sin that.
And you
They
seem
better
to
not do that.
You seem to have picked it up yourself, child.
We've just had a donation. When Wyatt's back on the scene, Isra would like Wyatt to roll on the wild magic table. Not on the wild magic table, on the deck of many, sorry.
Oh no.
Okay. And she smiles, and she does still offer her hand to you, Lamorna.
I think after that exchange, Lamorna would kind of calm a little bit and take the hand.
And you feel, when you do, this sense of home. Something that you've probably actually not felt for a very long time. Almost serene feeling. And she looks to you. Some secrets are best kept, others aren't. However, if it means saving a life, maybe it's best to be seen.
Where's Douglas overboard?
And she smiles. I will have to ask for something. I will need a gift, not for me, for the sea, to give you that second chance, and only chance. If you do not think wisely, on this chance. You may end up back here.
I mean, when
But
you
you won't remember anything.
lady, one of the things I've grown up believing, the old sailors used to say, is that the sea is soothed by song.
Sometimes.
Is that a good enough gift, or do we need to give something perhaps a little more grave?
I think it depends on the singer, Douglas.
Comment about my singing.
Whatever you value, give. And as she says that, there's a moment of where you can hear the creak, and Shepard and Wyatt, you approach the ship and you can see Douglas and Lamorna holding the hands of this woman, hair and robes sort of drifting through the air.
Plank, plank, plank. Hurry with the plank. Luke, Wyatt, get it on the boat. Get it on the ship. And I try to steer the ship as close as I can so that we can use the planks to get on. There is no time.
Is that her?
It must be. James, Elizabeth, right over here, right to the side so you can go first.
And they sort of, James takes Elizabeth's hand and starts running over, and he sort of helps her balance as Luke slams this plank down, and it almost makes Douglas and Lamorna jump a little bit, almost taking you out of that serene moment. It's not fully drawn you back, but you see the two kids sort of run over the plank. Luke heads over to you, Wyatt. He's like, do you want a hand?
Nope, I got it. And I'm gonna lasso over to something that's lassoable. And I'm just gonna swing right over just to...
Do not for the moment, I won't even make you roll. You can just swing over.
Cool.
And Luke, Shepard, you look at Luke, Luke gives you a look, and it's just like, I'll never understand these Americans.
I am one and I don't understand us. Get to the lady.
Oh, right. And he sort of runs across. You see him scoop up the dog and start running across the side of this plank, weirdly elegantly for such a large, oversized man.
And I'm standing by the plank on our side, just making sure that everybody gets across, and I'll cross as soon as everyone's there.
Yeah, you can cross, and as you do, because the boat's still moving, the plank shifts and drops.
While I'm on it?
No. You get on the other ship. Don't worry.
Where's my roll?
We'll see Wyatt land very, very piratey on the other side of the boat. And Lamorna and Douglas, you do notice this woman does not seem surprised by the arrival of the others. And she even looks down and smiles. And she lets go of your hands for a brief moment to kneel down as the dog comes running towards her. And his paws go up on her knees as she crouches, and she scratches like behind his ears. And she seems to whisper something to him. And he sits and pants and then walks back over to Wyatt and sits.
I'm pushing the children ahead to get them as close to the lady as possible. And then I fall to my knees and do a sign of the cross at the back of the group.
And she looks through the group almost towards you. There is no need. But thank you.
I've spoken to you so many times. Thank you for coming.
And she smiles. I'm sorry it is in this situation that we are finally meeting.
I'll take it. Help these children. Make sure they get out.
And she looks down into the water for a moment. She's like, I see some of my guides aided you here. And you can see that man in the water. He has a little bit of a wave, and she sort of gives him a gesture, and he starts to climb up onto the ship.
They certainly saved us.
They are good. And as he sort of climbs up on the ship, he is dripping wet, and you can see that pool of water that he stands in. And he's just in like these very loose trousers that are sort of tied up. And he does look to you, Lamorna, and you see the same eyes.
It's obvious. I will look at him, and I think I will be intrigued because I haven't seen any other benevolent creatures that are somewhat similar to me on this island yet. I'm like, there's a little bit of kind of hurt, like, where were you?
He gives you a bit of a grin, like as in an acknowledgement, but doesn't say anything.
When you say we're the same, is it on a kind of a, we can tell we're both of the sea, or are we literally both of the same kind of creature?
You're both of the same kind of creature.
Can they talk to each other like dolphins?
They don't start.
You don't want us
other.
to do that because it will be more like, oh,
yeah, let's start barking towards each other. And on that, Wyatt, please pick a card. Scrat, could you?
How do I do this?
Well, Wyatt, tell me when to stop.
Oh my god. Never stop.
Oh, some just dealt themselves. Just remove themselves from the deck. I'm not going to change that.
I trust you.
Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Soon.
Soon.
Okay.
Alice, you know what to do with that?
Yep.
What's it mean?
That will come into play in a bit.
What's it mean, Alice?
It means the moon, Wyatt. You can, but I change it for this game, so you can do whatever you want.
Damn it!
Lady.
Okay, now what?
Oh.
That was just why asking the lady.
No.
Now what?
And she looks towards you and smiles. I need you all to give something that I can give to the sea. Something of importance to you. Something that will satisfy the ocean to give you one more chance.
Lady,
Yes.
might any of the lost souls still on the island be saved?
And she looks sad for a moment. That is their own story. It is up to them how long they wander.
They can't be helped?
You can't always help someone who's lost. They have to
can
find
try.
their own way.
You can try. If I went back, would I remember enough to know that they needed help?
Is that what you want?
If they're lost and they can be saved and there is no one there to help them,
It will
Then
be
I should
your
go.
second chance.
if there's any hope for them, then I'll go back.
You wish to stay on the island?
I think I'm meant to.
Yeah, as Shepard is saying this, I'm hastily looking around the multitude of wooden statuettes. Is there anyone who isn't already statued and has used their second chance?
Did my dad come with us? Also,
We left him on the other ship. He's just
Did he walk
asleep
across?
As the
somewhere.
other ship drifts away, he sort of sits upright
Bye,
and goes,
Mr. Peterson.
Dad.
He is on the ship with you. I will say Luke slung him over his
All right.
shoulder. and sort of
Yep.
across.
Yeah, is there anyone who isn't a statue from the crew that I remember?
I wouldn't say so. But I don't know, Shepard, are you referring to everyone you met on the island?
Any lost souls on the island who might be saved in whatever way that saved could be interpreted.
Do the others have anything to say about that, as Shepard says they want to stay?
I think I glare at him. Shepard, there's no one left. Out of all of us that came here, there's none of us, apart from everyone here, made it.
In this time,
We're getting a second chance, Shepard.
The people around us, the lady told me they've already spent their second chance. They don't get another one. It's just us.
lady, in any way can any be saved? Even if it's to remember themselves, to confess their sins, to be absolved, is there any way that any can be saved?
Sin again.
I'm Catholic, what do you want?
Oh yeah, and she still rolls her eyes every time you bring it up.
She pauses for a moment. It's like, what do you mean by saved? Do you mean receiving the chance you were receiving, or the passing on and the guidance?
Passing on a guidance to a better place if they can't leave the island. If they're in torment on that island and it can be relieved in this life or the next.
To some it is not torment. To some it is memories of past and where they would rather be.
To all,
To most. Most people who find it not so comforting end up here like you. You understand that it is not normal.
and there are none who are in torment, whose torment can be relieved.
And she shrugs. I cannot answer that. I am not the island.
Shepard sits back pensively, seems to be sorting through that information.
Now, listen, Shepard, I think it's great that you got the right intentions and everything, you know what I'm saying, but this is your second chance.
Also, this island is, from everything we've seen, so incredibly, powerful. What you would be doing might be going against the island's design, and I'm not to cause any offense, but you're just one human man. You are as a fish out of water here as any of us.
I have no illusion of power. I just don't want to leave tormented souls alone. Lady, is there anything we can do for any of them? From here?
And she looks down. I understand your frustration, Shepard. I do. I go through it daily. But there are some things where children must find their own way. You should know that.
I do. Will you be here for them?
I'm always here.
Just a look of relief passes over his face, and he nods. Okay, then.
She looks to all of you. A gift is needed from each of you. And you watch the other chariot slowly drift away out to sea until it disappears on the horizon. And I think that's where we'll take our break.
Okay, everyone, we're going to take a short break. We're going to grab a drink. I might make another coffee, actually, because my...
Coffee?
Fun fact, viewers, my alarm did not go off this morning. I was supposed to be up 3 hours before the stream. Instead, I woke up half an hour before the stream, so I need more coffee. You know, it was a nightmare. I had loads to get done as well. So we're gonna fade out. We will be actually we're not gonna fade out. I'm gonna do a proper stinger entrance for some of our Kickstart Hero Forge stuff. So there won't be any fading. This is going to be a very dramatic change. Brace for dramatic change. Have a break. Be human. See you in a second. Bye. Oh, hi everyone. Welcome back from the break. So the pros and cons of the Stinger method of playing those videos, it seems, is it stretches it horribly, but I hope you got to see some of the color tool there. We'll be playing with it between the streams today. Thanks to Kickstarter giving us some exclusive access to their color prototype tool. There's things we're not allowed to touch and stuff. It's very exciting. Alice, I will throw the story directly back into your very capable hands.
And this woman looks to you all. I need a gift for the sea. What do you have to give?
Forgive me for asking, my lady. Must it be something physical, or can it be some other part of us?
Whatever is important to you, what you feel is worthy. She does not value anything monetarily.
I'm gonna whisper to the little Morna. Hang on, what do you mean by non-physical? You mean like meaningful, free words?
Well, I mean things like memories, feelings. You know, there's a lot that makes a person.
I know what I'm gonna give, and we're all gonna feel it.
Well, is that volunteering to go first?
She looks to you, Douglas.
I can't go first. I'm gonna need to go and get them. Give me a minute.
Yeah.
Douglas is gonna head down to the galley.
Unmuting works. Lady,
Yes.
when we give these to the sea, do they simply disappear into her, or if the sea has claimed someone, might that person receive what we give?
This is payment only for you. You cannot pay for another in turn.
There is someone who you have taken, and what I have to give, I would wish to go to her.
In what way?
Whatever place she's gone to. I saw you take her in the sea. I want to give it to her. Can I?
What do you wish to achieve by giving it to her?
Her forgiveness?
And she looks at you. Where she is, she can take nothing. But forgiveness is something you can ask for.
How?
You reach out. And she looks to you, is like, but to ask for forgiveness, you need to take a chance.
We'll take a chain from around his neck, and pull out a gold ring that is attached to the chain, and hand it to her.
And she holds out her hand.
Places it gently in her hand.
As you place it in her hand, you see it almost like it seeps through her hand as it turns to water and runs through her fingertips. Thank you.
There's no other thing in the world of value to me. Thank you for receiving it.
And she nods. And then looks to both Wyatt and Lamorna as Douglas has left.
So it's got to be something meaningful then. This is my friend Lamorna. She means a lot to me. And I'll chuck her over the side.
Take!
Hold on. How
You-
uncomfortable does Wyatt look right now? Because he's about to look a whole lot more.
Yeah. I got something I can give to the sea. I'll walk up to the lady.
And
No,
she
unfasten
turns
my-
and looks to you.
I'll unfasten my belt.
She holds her hand out.
Quietly, more. And I'll take off my holster.
And
I'll stick it in. I'll put it in her hand.
as she does, you watch it almost turn to water and run through her fingertips. And she smiles. Thank you.
I'll tip my hat and I'll back away slightly.
She sort of
And
bows her
refasten my
head
belt.
briefly. And walking forward, hand in his, pulls out a small pocket watch. My father's. I'll be honest, I don't really want to part with it, but if by giving it to you, it means I can see my ma again, I'll give it to you. And she nods. And she, again, you see it turn to water and run through her fingertips.
I will take a few steps forward towards her. I'll kind of look down. Have I still got the locket?
Yeah.
Around my neck. I'll take that out and kind of frowning, I'll hold it out. Now, I believe it was the island or the sea that made this fall into my possession in the first place. So it's not really just this that I am giving. And I don't have much in the way of physical belongings. I think you know as well as I do that the likes of me don't tend to put a lot of stock in that sort of thing. So I would offer the sea something I feel is more powerful. I would like the sea to take my rage, my anger. I have clung to it for years, for so long. It has shaped who I am and what I thought about myself. And the only entity that I know that has shown or felt rage comparable to what I have known in the last few years is the sea herself, which is why I can think of nothing else that is perhaps quite so meaningful to me. And if that means that the sea will take my memories of where that anger came from, then I will, by all means, give those as well.
And she pauses and looks at you. And she holds out her hand to you.
And I will drop the locket into her hand.
As you go to drop the locket, she also takes your hand. And you almost feel anger leaves you. And you will never forget what you did. But that doesn't mean you can't forgive. And she sort of, you feel her hold your hand very softly, but it does feel fairly firm. And she smiles. Remember to forgive others too. And steady your anger. And you feel like your palm becomes wet as this locket turns to water and runs. And Douglas, Do you emerge?
Aye. Douglas has gone down to the galley. He's gone to that secret wooden panel. And he's removed his entire space box. And he's coming back up on deck with it now. Having a wee sing-song. Here's a health to the king and a lasting peace. The faction end to wealth increase. Come, let us drink while we have breath, for there's no drinking after death. And he that will this health deny, down among the dead men, down among the dead men, down, 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 down among the dead men, let him. In smiling Bacchus's joy I'll roll, deny no pleasures to my soul. Let Bacchus's health round briskly move, for Bacchus is the friend of love. And he that will this health deny, down among the dead men, down among the dead men, down, 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 down among the dead men, let him lie. May love and wine their rights maintain, and their united pleasures reign. While Bacchus's treasure crowns the board, we'll sing that joy that both afford. And he'll pass over the spices at this point, the final. And they with us that won't comply, down among the dead men, down among the dead men, down, 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 down among the dead men, let him lie.
And she takes the box from you and smiles. Thank you, Douglas Lackland. And then she looks towards Elizabeth, who walks forward. She has nothing but her dress on, but hands over that hagstone. And you see her whisper something to the lady, who smiles and sort of takes her in her arms briefly and gives her a hug and turns her back. And you see James step forward with his lantern. And he holds it out, half with a smile. And she looks at him. You know I can't. And he sort of looks a little bit sad as he sort of looks down. And he does smile at her. And he turns back to all of you. He's like, I just wanted to help. And you can see a small trickle of blood leave the top of his head, where his hair is matted. I'm sorry.
Lady, there's nothing you can do? Nothing at all.
And she puts a hand on his shoulder. He's already helped you. He never fully reached the island.
But that doesn't make sense. I brought him here myself. I made sure he was safe.
Sometimes when we want something so badly, we feel it. And there's a moment where she pauses. You did bring him to the island, but you did not bring him whole.
I don't understand that. What I saw with the figurehead, that was a different timeline. That's not what happened.
And she does look sad. Truth blurs. This is what happens in chaos. And there's a moment where this blonde-haired man holds out his hand to James. And he sort of, head bowed, does take it.
Before he goes, I will rush up to him and hug him and hold him and say, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, James.
You can feel him rest his head on your shoulder. And that little hand sort of grasps the back of your coat. I get the lamps lit.
You did a good job. You did a very good job. You're a good sailor.
I know maybe I wasn't fully truthful on the island, but I didn't know how to say it. And I thought maybe if I gave her something, you know.
If there was anything she would take for your soul, I would give it. I'm so sorry.
I know. It's okay though. I'm gonna go with them.
I pat his head and I back away.
What happens then? Will you look after him? I asked the blonde-haired man.
And the blonde-haired man sort of actually leans down and picks up James. And he sits sort of on his hip quite comfortably. I have my own options for second chances. It'll be a different life, but it will be one.
So, James will change?
And he nods with a big smile. You can see that James doesn't understand. And there is a sadness there.
I will smile sadly back at both of them and say, well, he's already worn the cloak once before.
And this man smiles and looks to all of you. Good luck.
To you as well.
And James sort of looks over all of you with a sad smile.
Keep the lamps lit. It's how you survive in a storm.
Well.
And you see this man turn and walk to the edge of this ship. James in arms. And leaps. And the lady steps forward. We have...
Could it have been any other way?
Sadly, no. But I appreciate it, Douglas. It is honourable. All I can do now is offer you some form of advice. You will be thrown into the moment where the decision took place. Think of things and look for the land on the horizon. The eye of the storm is the calmest. Remember it.
Oh, hell.
And for a moment, you look past towards the island. This island that has maybe been your home for the last few days. And somewhere you hear a howl. The third howl. As you all suddenly feel cold, everything feels dark, and everything rushes up as water feels like it suddenly engulfs you. And you are back on that ship. And you take a moment as you all stand in the places you were as the storm was called out for. And there's that moment where you can hear the captain yelling, but there's no captain there. You can hear the yells of Luke as Luke is screaming through the storm, pulling the rope up as this ship lurches up and down through this ocean as the waves come up, as you've been thrown back to this moment.
I'm gonna run to Wyatt. Douglas! Wyatt! Belaying pin! Put it in a thing! Lash yourself down, laddie!
Yeah. And so I followed the instructions, and then I remember something. I remember the black eyes.
Oh, don't be a
of
dafty, you
Elizabeth.
can't swim.
Is Elizabeth around?
Elizabeth is currently being lashed to the mast, and Shepard, you find yourself almost waking up being the one doing this, as if you're back in that moment.
So, see, like when I look up and I see her, and I just have the memory of her eyes turning black, and seeing her in my dream, and then seeing her on the ship. My instinct is to go to my gun.
It's not there.
Then I'll have to try something else. And through the storm, I'm just going to try to balance myself over to where Shep and Elizabeth are.
Okay. Can you make a brawn check for me, please, as you head over there? Yeah, you sort of stagger and you move as this deck starts to sway, and you're really struggling, and the waves are starting to come over. You can feel the ground slippery beneath you. Shepard, you were sat there, and Elizabeth is like, she's got her eyes closed for a brief moment, more because the sea spray is coming over. You can hear Luke shouting, you hear Douglas yelling something, you hear yelling in Wyatt's name.
Do I see Wyatt heading toward us?
Would you make sure Elizabeth's rope is secured fully?
Very much so, yes.
And you probably wouldn't see him coming.
Okay. I'm going to try to be securing the rope, but I'm going to shout, look for the eye or the land. Look for the eye or the land. Anyone who can.
I mean, I guess at this point, because last time I was trying to make sure James was safe, but I'm assuming there is no James here.
You can hear him, but you can't see him. You can hear those feet running around, lighting the lanterns.
Okay. I'm going to put my trust in the fact that he is in a very different place right now. And I'm going to start doing what Shep suggests. I'm going to start looking I guess with any knowledge of sea storms, I would be looking to see where based on the wind direction and everything, where the center of this kind of coulee might be.
Okay, roll me a balance, please.
Okay.
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 You are looking you're trying to strain your eyes through this pouring rain. It's almost battering at you as it is coming across, and you can hear that yelling. You can hear James somewhere talking, almost like an echo of a memory as it goes past. And there's a moment where the ship dips and lurches. You feel your stomach go as this wave drops, and this wall of water comes up. And as you start to creep up it, on the horizon, you would have never known to look for it before, there is a thin strip of land. Up ahead.
I will basically scream through the storm and point the direction we gotta go. I see the land! We have to go this way! Everyone not currently doing something, do stuff to make that happen. Ship stuff!
Ship storms!
Ship storms!
Ship storms!
Sailing jargon.
I need
Alice,
you.
Alice,
Yes, go.
I'm going to reach my hand out,
Okay.
and I'm going to grab Shep.
Shepard, you feel Wyatt's hand grab you.
And I'm going to yell over the storm. Let me stay with her. I'll keep her safe. We
I don't
all
believe you
need
at all. Get us to the land. Get us
We
to the
all
land.
need you to get us to the land. I can't
Go
do
help
that.
them.
I can't do it. I don't know how. You're the sailor.
I try to stand between him and Elizabeth.
Okay.
Like
We all get there.
having helped Wyatt just seconds ago, I think Douglas had been nearby and he's got a point, Shepard! We need you on the forecastle!
The way we haven't got time to fight!
Wyatt, go do something away from Elizabeth.
I literally don't know what to do.
I start pointing. I'm like, pull that rope. Tie that thing. Do ship stuff.
I need you all to make a brawn check whilst you're arguing. You're not holding on to anything.
Oh,
Hey!
if anyone.
Oh,
no.
I'm doing very well.
Oh, God,
I honestly
please.
couldn't have rolled any better.
Okay. Lamorna, you're sort of looking out to the sea, and you can see that land. And you see it sort of disappearing and reappearing, and you get thrown to the other end of the ship, and you can feel this almost like this crack as you hit the barrier on the other side. You don't go overboard, but you get thrown completely away from everything. Wyatt, you sort of manage to stabilize yourself just about. Shepard, you get thrown. Like you're stood, but you get thrown. You have this moment where you actually flip overboard, but you manage to grab hold of the actual barrier as this goes on, but you are clinging on. You can see Luke trying to get towards you. And Douglas, how are you staying on with that? Have you got something Douglas would particularly be doing?
Did you know, since I mentioned it just moments ago, and I recall the last time we were in this storm, all the time I was tied off. I was absolutely fine, so I've got a feeling I'm still tied off. I'm still on the thing, but I want to look whilst I've got this stability. The captain's gone. Who's at the helm?
Ah, we need someone at the helm.
The helm is just being flung left, right, and center.
I'm gonna run for the
ship
helm. I'm
is
gonna
turning.
get rid of that belaying pin. I'm running for the helm.
Okay.
I mean, I've never done this before, but I know the basics. Turn into the wind. Don't get broadsided by a wave. It'll be fine.
Then you head to the helm. Could you roll me a brawn, please, as you start trying to pull yourself up towards the helm?
Hey, child's
Yeah.
play, laddie.
Describe it for me, how Douglas rushes up there as the ship is being thrown about.
Okay. As the ship's being tossed about, you know how when Douglas walks on shore, he's got that sort of gait to him. Well, it looks perfectly straight on the boat as the boat's going around. It's like watching a gyroscope move across a thing. He is absolutely level. His footsteps match. And as soon as he gets to that as soon as he gets to that helm, you know he's going to find the balcony. He's going to put that belaying pin back in, and he's tying himself back off.
Okay, you managed to tie yourself back off. This water is absolutely pounding down on you, and you're sort of straining to see. You can see where Lamorna has been thrown down the other side of the boat, and Shepard is hanging off as Luke is trying to pull his way to get towards him. And this small dog you can hear yapping.
Hit the dog.
On the deck, sort of close to Wyatt, almost gripping onto Wyatt's trouser legs.
Thank you very much, V's Knees, who spends their Scrattish pounds to gift an advantage to me. Thank you.
Can I just ask, am I any closer to Shep since I was also thrown against the rail than Luke
You were
is?
thrown the other side because you were down by the you haven't gone over. You can definitely restabilize yourself very, very quickly. It's more the Shepherd can't.
I will do that, and I guess like whatever jobs he's doing, if they need someone on the sails to make sure we've got them doing the right thing, I'll go do that.
Yeah, you can hear Luke yelling to you as he's making his way to Shepard. He's yelling at you to pull the sails down.
But if we do that, then we won't be able to move towards land.
We need to get through the storm first. Hold on to something.
Alright. I will do that. Well, I feel like we've got to head to the eye of the storm before we can kind of get through this thing.
Douglas is steering.
And
he seems to be doing it quite well, because on that brawn you see him turning towards the eye of the storm, and you can see as much as these waves are fewer, they are bigger, and you can feel the boat tipping. And as you do, Shepard, you feel your legs just almost like leave as if you're then starting to hang, and Luke is like, I'm coming! Like as he's trying to pull himself along. He's tied his rope.
Yeah. Go save the ship. Get us to the eye. And I try to climb, but I'm trying to send Luke away.
Roll a brawn for me then, please. Yeah, you can't pull yourself back on just yet, but you are holding on firm. You are not letting go of this. And there's a moment where you think you can hear a voice behind you. Just hold on. And at that moment, there is a crack, and you can see at the head of the ship as Minerva's head falls again. And a wave you can see is coming up and up and up. What is Wyatt doing?
How did I? So I was able to secure myself there. Seeing that Shep was sent away by the rocking of the boat, I'm going to disregard what he said and stay there at the main mast with Elizabeth.
Elizabeth sort of opens her eyes and sees you. She's like, and holds out her hand, almost like, hold on!
I'm going to take her hand and make sure that I've lassoed myself around the mast, and with the other end of the rope, I'm gonna tie us together.
Yeah, you can easily do that. She's sort of holding on to you so that you can do that. She's also grabbed hold of the dog, which is got these tiny little legs, but is yapping and barking as this happens.
I'm gonna kneel down so I can kind of get on her level. And I'm just gonna look into her eyes. I got you.
And she sort of grips hold of like your sleeve. She's like, I got you.
All right. Well, if we're safe, then we're safe together.
And there's a moment where, in fact, can you roll me a beyond, please? Okay. You look at Elizabeth, and you look into her eyes, and that darkness isn't there anymore. It's like it's left, like it's gone.
That's good. Yeah, you look better without it.
And she's just like, what? As you see this huge wave coming up, and you all turn for a moment, and I need you all to, I will let you do something to either fasten yourself in or set yourself down before you roll a brawn.
Rather than fastening myself down because I am preempting the likelihood of having to dive after someone, I'll probably just hold on very, very tight to something grippable around like the center of the ship. I imagine, since that's where I am flying with sails, rather than tying myself into anything. So I am mobile.
Okay.
I don't think I have anything with which to tie myself since I'm hanging off the side.
You're hanging on more than
Yeah.
anything. Douglas, you're strapped on you. Sorry, Karen, check this.
Hi.
I'm gonna see if there's a way to hook myself around the railing at least, so that it's a little bit harder for me to slip. So yeah, but that's
Yeah,
I'm gonna try to get myself in the best position to like have my body stop myself from falling, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
We know that the shepherd is clinging on, right?
Yeah, you're very
Okay.
aware the shepherd is clinging on.
Cool. Just so I know whereabouts that is.
Douglas, you're strapped to this helm. I need you now all to make a brawn check, please. And Douglas, I also need you to make a either brains or balance check to control this ship.
Didn't make a matter. We'll go for balance. But as we're doing all this, I think definitely when up jumped the herring, the queen of the sea, is said now, old skipper, you cannot catch me in the windy weather, boys. Stormy weather, boys. When the wind blows, we'll pull together, boys.
Okay.
The brawn's good. The steering's good.
We're all brawny.
Okay. I'm also gonna roll one of them.
The power of song.
Okay. There is a shepherd, you are clinging on for dear life, and you sort of lose your grip a bit, but you don't let go as this huge wave comes up, and you feel this crash down as all of this water piles onto all of you. Douglas, you sort of, for a moment, you get thrown by the sea, but you reach out and grab it again. Sort of, your mouth sort of gurgles of water before you spit it back out, and you continue to sing and throw the ship into the right direction. And then you've got Lamorna, you're sort of staggering to get across. You don't quite have full control. You're much better in the water than on something. And you see Luke fall.
I
And
knew
Luke
this would happen.
drops off the side of the ship.
All
And
right.
Wyatt, you can see this happen to Luke as well, especially because Elizabeth screams to point in that direction.
Just so I know, the only one who knows that Luke saw red eyes is Douglas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in that case, I guess I'm diving off the side of the ship.
Okay.
Where in the heck?
You.
Wait, did Wyatt see that he saw the red eyes as well?
I don't think Wyatt did. It was Lugless.
Douglas.
Lugless Douglas. Okay, it was
Douglas of
Douglas.
Doffley.
Lugless Douglas. You.
I can hear just fine, thank you.
I see him, and he can't see me coming. Douglas was the only one who actually purposefully looked into the eyes of the creature.
Bye.
Elizabeth.
Oh boy. Well,
And
everyone,
Douglas.
with 15 minutes to go, we've just had a deck of many roll for everyone.
Oh god. Okay.
What?
As I'm in mid-dive, like, oh no, something bad happened.
Okay, let's get this done quick. Rachel, tell me when to stop.
Stop!
There's only
Try
one card in my
this
hand. Uriel.
Alright, well, it's not the tower, that's okay.
Not the tower.
The tower.
Matt.
Stop.
The Fates.
Don't giggle like that. What does that mean?
I know what
Jen.
it means.
You'll keep getting me to stop right in the middle. The Throne.
Ooh, okay.
Alice, get me to stop.
Stop.
The Vizier. Now, obviously, since we're not playing 5e, Alice will interpret these as best we can.
Mm-hmm. Okay. There is a moment where that wave hits, and Lamorna, you dive off the side of this ship. What does it look like as you change as you dive?
I imagine what most people will probably see is just silhouette because of the lightning and like the storm. So you would probably see Lamorna dives, and she dives in a fairly like a proper like professional diver would dive. But as she does so, she it's almost like she starts at the front, her body kind of elongates till she's probably like nearly twice the length that she was, or like something like that, and a much bigger form with these very broad kind of flippers and this long tail, because she's a very big seal, and then that almost kind of like slightly kind of like seals have a strange profile, like they almost have like a snake-like head to them, and then she's just kind of into the water without, compared to the splashing and the crashing and everything else around, it's almost as like she barely broke the surface when she kind of dives.
And you all see this.
Oh my
as
god.
this happens.
She was the witch the whole time.
Oh!
I've been bamboozled.
Lamorna's not a witch, Wyatt! Pull the boom!
I'm so focused on trying not to fall off the ship that I'm sort of like, yeah, okay.
And Lamorna,
sense.
as you dive into the water, you descend into this darkness, this water, and you can see Luke dropping, bubbles leaving his mouth. But the other thing you see because of this card is that something is pulling him down.
Oh! Right. What prey?
You see a huge tail and what looks like this human part, the upper half of the body. Vicious, sharp pointed teeth and wild hair as it drags him down into the darkness.
That's a very unpleasant fate. I'm just going to torpedo into the side of that thing.
Roll me a brawn, please.
I've heard stories about this on 4chan. This is not going to be bad.
Sighted a fresher or slash.
If you're going to die, this is the way to die.
Oh no. I've run out of advantages.
Time now, old skipper.
You-
to
Bounce off.
hoist up your
You
sail.
smash into this thing, and it sort of entangles itself in you, and you hear, if you could, almost what an underwater, like a hiss would look like, as these wide black eyes stare back at you and slash at you, and Luke drops.
No, Luke! I'm just like frenzied biting, just with those very big, like, crab smashing teeth, just like biting and just trying to tear off like anything I can.
Roll one more brawn for me, please.
Oh goodness. Come on! Oh, finally!
It hasn't loaded for me.
Yeah, my connection's been interrupted as well. What'd you get?
It's a 10.
A 10. I will say then, there is a moment where you're sort of like in this, it's a bit of a mixture. This tail is thrashing, trying to knock you off, as well as these long, like, vicious, sharp-like claws as it lashes. And you manage to, with your tail, kick it off and send it down into the darkness as well. And you can just about see Luke fading.
I want to try and just, like, bite the back of his shirt, his waistcoat, whatever it is, and just, like, drag him up. Like, I'm not even caring about pressure changes at this point, like I did with James. I'm trying to get us both out of here.
Yeah, and you manage to head up and up towards the surface as you break it in this storm. And then, Douglas,
Hey!
the card you drew allows you to ask one question. And it can, whether it's to be how to get through the storm, which way to steer, or anything else.
I don't think my question's going to be the kind of question that gets a great answer, but may bring a lot of comfort. Like, whilst I'm singing away at the top of my lungs, going through the back of my head is, Minerva! Will you help me? Will you help us?
And at that point, you feel a hand rest on your shoulder.
Oh no, I've got a damp fingerprint on my hand now. I'm next.
You can feel it. And as you do, you see a hand reach out on top of yours in these white robes, and they make you turn the ship.
Aye!
And Shepherd, you are struggling to hold on, and all of you feel the ship tip as if it's coming fully up on its side, very much like it did before. And you have seen Luke disappear over the side. And there is a moment where you can feel your hands slipping. And there is what this card does for you. It gives you a moment to either pray, persuade, or reach out to something or anyone on the ship.
On the ship?
On the ship, or somewhere else.
So the prayer that goes through my mind, and I think it would be direct to the man upstairs. It's going to be, Father, Lord God.
Mm.
That child, Elizabeth, will be alone in the world. She needs a father. Let me live.
And there's that moment. And Wyatt, up in the sky, the moon blazes. Almost like this jewel up in the sky. And on the horizon, where you don't only see land, you see another ship. As the whole ship starts to upturn and crash down into the water, as you all feel this salty, freezing cold water rush up towards you. I need you all to make a brawn to see, well, the brawn this time is going to be different because you're going to want to let go of the ship. And some of you are fastened to it.
To let go.
I've still got my hatchet.
Yeah. So you can use that.
So I'll use that to break me and Elizabeth free.
Yeah, you can swing this hatchet, and as the whole ship turns, there's a moment where she clings to you, and you've got the dog barking in the storm as you both drop into the water. Lamorna, you're already in the water.
Am I seeing people jumping off, abandoning ship?
Yeah, you're seeing people abandoning ship.
I want to try and make, because I know when people jump into the water, if you hit it wrong, you can be dazed, you can even, in some cases, be knocked out. I want to go around and make sure people, like, if they sink when they hit, I want to try and help people get back up to the surface. Just basically going around nudging people back up.
There's a moment where you can see all of this debris coming whilst you're having to weave in between it, weaving with Luke still with you. And Douglas, could you make a roll to try and get off of the ship?
So, is the ship lost? Have we...
Yeah, you need to get off this ship.
Shite. Minerva, how could you? It's a 9.
Never works in mysterious ways. You manage to detach yourself, and you plunge into this water, and you hit it hard. Very, very hard. As you plunge down into these depths. And Shepherd, are you just letting go? Because you're just holding on.
I'm just letting go.
You let go. And there is a moment where you all hit this water surface, and everything goes dark. And the storm overhead, as you fight it, there's a mixture of emotion where you're sort of feeling thrown backwards, upside down, and Wyatt, you were thrown into this water. And there's this moment where you can see Elizabeth sort of struggling free, and she's trying. You can see her gesturing to show you either how to swim, and half pulling you by the sleeve and trying to pull you in the right direction as she gestures for you to swim up.
I'm not sure I'm capable of doing that. Like I'm just flailing around.
Roll a brawn for me, and a beyond.
I'll come and get you if you don't.
9 on the brawn, 3 on the beyond.
There's a moment where you can feel your breath leaving you. You can see Elizabeth panicking, trying to reach for you as she's sort of going, but she's also, the dog is dragging her up towards the surface, and you can see the light starting to fade as you drop. And then there is something beneath you in the darkness that swirls up as a very large seal and a much smaller one starts swimming up from beneath, and you feel yourself almost seized and pulled upwards and upwards towards the surface before you break the water's surface again. And there's this strange moment where everything feels very serene in this water, like the rain stops as you swim with these 2 seals. One of them, you sort of look into the eyes of this very, very small one, very sort of soft, innocent looking face as it heads up, and you break the surface of the water close to Elizabeth. And
Sphinx has gifted 4 auto successes. He says it might be late coming, but we've got them if we need them. They're in your pocket.
And there's a moment as you break and you realize you're out of the storm. You look back. There's grey sky as the storm moves, the lightning striking. Shepherd, you also break the surface. Lamorna, Luke is in your grasp, I guess. And Douglas, you sort of come up. You've got a bit of wood tied to you, but it seems to be bobbing more than anything. And there's a ship. And you can hear a voice going, "Hey! Hey!" Like as they wave towards you. "What the hell are you doing out there?" As they sort of like wave towards you, and this dog is barking and sort of trying to swim over you, Wyatt, as you're trying to gasp for this air.
Oh, we just fancied a wee swim!
He's like, "You crazy freaking lot." No, so sort of as this ship comes closer and closer, and Wyatt, your last card was the Fates.
Mm-hmm.
You can change one thing that happened. Anything.
Anything?
Anything.
Rewriting history, oh my god!
You can save a life,
Mm-hmm.
or you can stop something from happening.
Oh boy.
Jeepers, man.
No pressure.
Right. What do I see around me?
You can see your shipmates. You can see Lamorna, I'm guessing, slowly turning back into...
No, if there's
No?
another ship that's within seeing distance, I'm not turning back in front of them.
Then
I'm
you
just...
do see Luke being effectively carried by this huge seal. You can also see the ones that carried you sort of bobbing at a distance, trying to keep back. You can see Douglas and you can see Shepherd,
Mm-hmm.
all swimming. And
I
the
see my
ship
dad.
coming towards you.
That's a good point.
You don't see your dad.
Then what I would change is the day he decided to leave his family, his second family. He instead decided not to do that, and he stayed there.
And he stayed there. The ship comes closer, and you can see this crew leaning over the side, reaching their arms out and throwing ropes down to help you up. You can see one of them is this very burly man, very dark blonde hair, pulls you up, Douglas. And he's like, what the hell are you doing out here?
Oh, well, our wee captain went mad and drove us straight towards a siren. You gotta be careful in the night. If you see a strange light, don't go sailing towards it.
And he sort of gives you a look at, right, I'm just going to go help your friends. And he sort of starts leaning down and pulling Shepherd out of the water. You feel like almost like these two hands, like two people start pulling you up. And they pull up Elizabeth. And then this other man leans over. You can see this bright red hair as he leans over and holds his hand out to you, Wyatt. Go on, take it. Doesn't look like you can swim too well.
Nope, I can't.
And he sort of... he laughs and sort of pulls you up on deck and shoves your hat in your chest. He's like, right. Is there anyone else we should be looking for before we head off?
There's a fish.
I would like to bark.
You are in the ocean.
No, there's a big one.
That's my pet.
I've still got Luke in my mouth, so I'm not gonna spit at him right now.
like if anything, they're reaching down to get Luke, and they're looking at you, and you can see this one with like the fiery red hair looks at you up and down, and gives you a bit of a nod, and takes Luke.
You should let the great big.
If they want to, and this man looks to you, Lamorne, and goes, if they want to follow the ship, it's not far to land.
She will back away from the ship a bit and kind of, at that, just kind of flop back into the water.
And this man stands like, well, I guess this is my ship. My name is Frank. You're very welcome as we head back to Ireland. But I can drop you off there. I'm not going any further.
Thank you. Thank you for saving us.
No problem. And I think as we need to dash off. That is where we will leave Alaska, obviously.
Oh,
Yes!
Oh my goodness.
Alice, good story.
Oh, so many
You
chills.
all made it so
many
good.
chills.
Oh my god.
You all made it so good.
It's been a whole trip. My goodness. Well, everyone, do check out the credits as we roll. These people around this table are incredibly talented. Go and check out all the things that they do. We're going to be back now at 6 p.m. with the final of Mighty Transforming Super Troopers, which is completely nothing to do with the Power Rangers. It's completely legally distinct from that. This has been a fantastic season. Thank you all for playing. Thank you, Alice, for DMing. It's been fantastic. Until next time, everyone.
Thank you, chat.
yes,
you, chat.
thank you all so much.
Thank you, chat, for the chaos and the love. Keep on evoking emotions. We'll see you later.
Night.
Oh, and I'll be live between the shows with some Hero Forge exclusive content, so check that out too. See you soon. Bye! Oh, don't you hear the old man say, goodbye, fare ye well, goodbye, fare ye well. Oh, don't you hear the old man say, hurrah, me boys, we're homeward bound. We're homeward bound to Liverpool town, goodbye, fare ye well, goodbye, fare ye well. Where all them Judies they will come down. Hurrah, me boys, we're homeward bound. And when we get to Wallasey Gate, goodbye, fare ye well, goodbye, fare ye well. Oh, Sally and Polly for their flashmen do wait. Hurrah, me boys, we're homeward bound. And one to the other you'll hear them say, goodbye, fare ye well, goodbye, fare ye well. Oh, here comes Johnny with 14 months' pay. Hurrah, me boys, we're homeward